Really? Ugh, that's the effort that this Montreal Canadiens team comes out with after losing to their main division rival last night, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Really? You get shut out by none other than goaltender Mike Smith? Come on. Now, no disrespect to Mike Smith and his career. Congrats on your 40th career shutout. But at this point in his career, he's not a strong goalie, and the Edmonton Oilers defense is nothing to turn your head at. And they shut out the #1 ranked goal scoring team in the NHL. Oh my God. All you can do is laugh. The Montreal Canadiens are coming down to earth here, if we're being truthful. The Edmonton Oilers shut out the Habs 3-0. That puts Montreal's record to 8-4-2 on the season. The Oilers are now tied with us in the standings for second place, and I'm sure the Leafs are going to pad their stats here at the top of the North Division. The Montreal Canadiens are absolutely pissing away a very strong start to this 2021 season, and pissing away what it should be a very good opportunity to not only make the playoffs, but to go on a run here. I think the Habs bought way too heavily into their hype to start the season, and then they did not take the Ottawa Senators seriously, and it's been downhill since then. It's been excruciating these last 4 games as a Habs fan watching these games. They lose against the Ottawa Senators, then they barely come back and beat them. Then the effort against the Toronto Maple Leafs, albeit a good defensive effort. They hold Matthews and Marner and the Leafs top 6 to limited offense. And then the same tonight against McDavid and Draisaitl. They hold them back until late in the game when they get that 3rd goal on the power play, and both those guys pick up assists. But I think that's the main problem. The Habs bought way too heavily into their hype. That's a coaching issue. I also think this team is way too focused on the defensive aspect of the game. And believe me, I'm a defense-first kind of guy. I love what Shea Weber brings. I love what guys like Ben Sherratt and Joel Edmondson bring as defensemen in the NHL. It's a dying breed, and these guys are still heavily needed. But it can't be your go-to, solely relying on defense. And again, being a two-way forward is very useful in the NHL to this day. But it seems to me that the Montreal Canadiens are lacking offensive urgency and offensive creativity. And the same problems that were holding this team back in previous seasons and under Claude Julien's entire tenure are continuing this season. Issues that Marc Bergevin said he addressed with the coaching staff in the offseason. Poor home record, poor power play, not responding, giving up leads. It's just, oh my God, this all the same things repeating themselves. And this feeling that I have, and I'm sure you have, and probably the guys in the room have, can easily snowball unless Marc Bergevin comes in here and I think make a wise decision, and that's to move on from Claude Julien as head coach of the Montreal Canadiens. Now, I'm just some no-name YouTube guy. I'm going to be wrong about this. Claude Julien likely is not getting fired in the short term here, but to me, I don't think he has a long-term future with this Montreal Canadiens team. No excuses can be made at this point. Marc Bergevin did a hell of a job in the offseason filling every hole that this team had. Backup goaltender, bringing in a power forward like Josh Anderson, bringing in scoring with Tyler Toffoli. And it's still the same thing happening over and over again. This team is way too reliant on scoring off the rush. Teams know that once we get established ozone pressure, we are not a threat whatsoever. So as long as they shut down that play off the rush, goaltenders are going to know what's coming at them, and then we are going to make them look like much better goalies than what they truly are. Now, speaking of goalies, Jake Allen plays another fantastic game for the Montreal Canadiens and gets 0 goal support. That's incredibly frustrating. And again, Montreal outshoots their opponent 38-31, but was not the better team, just like last night against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And again, struggling in the face-off dot, going 45%. And no offense to the Oilers, but McDavid's not known for his face-off winning ability, and neither are really Draisaitl and Nugent-Hopkins as well. And the Habs have no answer for it in a game that should have been a really important one to respond to that loss last night, and they can't quite do it. So to me, I think it's time that we move on from Claude and bring in Dominic Ducharme, former Halifax Mooseheads coach, who is currently an assistant coach with the Montreal Canadiens. He wins the Memorial Cup with the Halifax Mooseheads with one of the best historical power plays in the history of the QMJHL. Something that's also been an absolute nightmare for the Habs these last few seasons, and is slowly becoming a problem now for the Habs, where it started strong and has just dipped back into old tendencies. Not a good week for the Montreal Canadiens, to say the least. Not a good couple weeks. It has been just frustrating, to say the least. And if you think about it, the same issues that were hindering the Boston Bruins before Claude got fired are the exact same issues that are hindering the Habs right now. It's quantity over quality when it comes to shots for Claude Julien. And when Bruce Cassidy came into the Boston Bruins, he turned that team around like that with minimal change to that roster. Now, granted, you got Pastrnak, who Julien was playing down in the bottom six, who comes up and is a savior for the Boston Bruins. But nonetheless, I would not be surprised to see the same thing happen if a coach like Dominic Ducharme, built for this modern style of speed and skill hockey, comes in to the Montreal Canadiens, who have speed, skill, and toughness built throughout this lineup, not only in the forward group, but on defense as well. We may have a plethora of big, physical, heavy defensive defensemen, but we have guys like Victor Mete waiting in the wings for his chance, whose advanced analytics are absolutely off the charts. His transition game is off the charts. And I just think a new coach could really change this team around. Now, please let me know in the comments if I'm overreacting here. I'm just pissed and I'm sick of the same issues repeating themselves over and over and over again, despite Marc Bergevin doing his best to fill this roster with pieces that a coach can work with. Now, no disrespect to Claude, he's a Stanley Cup winning coach, but I think his time is just over here. It's already been 4 years. He has not done a stellar job. And Marc Bergevin fired Michel Therrien when the Habs had a winning record back 4 or 5 years ago. I would not be surprised for him to have the balls to do the exact same thing. We got a game coming up against the Toronto Maple Leafs here, and then we have a long break. And a new coach could kind of turn things around. Now, it's likely not going to happen, so I shouldn't be ragging on this point here. But I think something has to be done, because the roster at this point is not going to change significantly this season, and we have a good opportunity to go on a run. And I do not think this opportunity should be wasted in the slightest. Now, good on the Oilers for turning their season around here. They faced some ups and downs early in the season, something that cannot be said for the Habs. So maybe I will give them that, where Habs have not faced their adversity yet this season. Maybe that is just what this is for them right now, and they just have to get through it and battle through it. But yeah, good on the Oilers for turning their season around, climbing the standings, despite even losing the Battle of Alberta the other night. They're getting it done. And the whole team got it done tonight without relying on McDavid and Draisaitl too heavily. Tyson Barrie played a good game. Chiara with the first goal, which ends up being the game winner for the Edmonton Oilers. But, I mean, it's after a really fun start to the season, it's not an enjoyable time to be a Habs fan after getting so excited after what they did to start the season, really, if we're being truthful. Now, some positives for the Habs. I'm still loving what Josh Anderson is bringing to this Montreal Canadiens team, willing to engage physically on a regular basis, really getting his power forward game going all over the ice, finishing his body checks, strong on the forecheck, using his speed to crash the net, and playing strong in front of the net as well. I also liked what I saw from Shea Weber, doing his best to shut down Connor McDavid. Love what I saw from Alexander Romanov, getting physical with Leon Draisaitl and with Connor McDavid. Love seeing Jeff Petrie get that hip check on Draisaitl as he tried to split the defense. So that was all good stuff to see. Also, Jonathan Drouin still looking very confident with the puck. Great stick handling through the neutral zone, doing his best to get things going in the offensive zone. And that line in general, Drouin, Anderson, and Suzuki, seems to be the only Habs line that can get anything going offensively on a consistent basis. I hate to go back to the coaching, but it just doesn't seem like the coaching staff is getting the best out of their players right now in that forward group, other than maybe that fourth line and Jake Evans and Paul Byron, who got inserted back into the lineup and who I thought looked really good, especially early in the game, playing with speed, finishing his body checks despite being a smaller guy, and just pushing the pace. Byron always pushes the pace for his line. He allows, and he kind of brings his line mates up to his pace when he's in the lineup. We see that when he's in with us, we win more than we lose. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case tonight, but that's about all I got for positives for the Habs tonight. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought about this game down in the comments, and yeah, I'll be at you after the next one. I apologize for my my emotion getting the best of me here. Let me know if I'm going overboard, and maybe try and calm me down down in the comments. If you like these videos, hit the like and subscribe button. And of course, follow me on Twitter and Instagram at SCOTIANCANADIEN. I'll see you guys after the next one. Go Habs, go, baby.